everyone, and welcome back to Master Site. Today we got game 3 of Nerdhammer GT, where I face off against Nathan Cerone and his Reforged Orcs. So Nathan is a Northeast player. He is from Canada. He's a part of Ben Tersh's crew. Ray Shields is up there too. And they have a podcast, the name of which is escaping me right now, but I am one of the tens of people that watch it. So I had to send Ben a picture of me and Nathan playing because Ben wasn't able to make it this weekend. And, just rub it in his face that we're all having a good time without him. So anyway, Nathan is yet another person on the list of people that I wanted to be able to play this weekend. It was kind of a long list, but I feel like I'm still getting lucky. So Nathan was a part of the Northeast Masters team this last year. So it just goes to show, even though I'm going 0 and 2, I'm still playing Masters players, baby. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look over Nathan's list, and we'll hop into the game here. So Nathan's Reforged Orcs, he starts off with a troop of Tundra Wolves. He has two hordes of Hellstrikers, one with Blood of the Old King, the other with J Boots. He has a legion of fight wagons with Brew of Sharpness. These guys are scary as hell. He has a war drum. He has the Storm Giant with the Cleaver for Slayer. He has a Flagger with an additional white dice. He has a Rift Forger mounted with Host Shadow Beast 3, and it looked like he had 5 points, so he gave it Storm Strike. He has a God Speaker with Knowledgeable, Bane Chant 2, and Veil of Shadows 3. He has a Stormbringer on Hellstriker with Staying Stone. And then he has the formation with a regiment of legionaries, another regiment of legionaries, and then a regiment of reborn legionaries with Brew of Haste. So the formation gives all those guys just an inherent bonus to their nerve. And then the reborn legionaries get wild charge D3 aura for orc only. So it affects his chariots or his fight wagons pretty much. Yeah, and then obviously it affects that unit, which he has the Brew of Haste on. So speed 6, wild charge D3. It's actually a pretty quick infantry unit for sure. So let me make sure I'm not missing anything else. Iron boots, iron boots. I don't know what. I don't think there's anything else with it. Strength and tribal magic. Nah, I don't think so. So yeah, the iron boots keyword doesn't actually say later on. So that brings him out to 13 drops and 24 unit strength. So a little bit more of an elite list. Don't mind seeing it. I feel like we still match up fairly well just because those Hellstrikers don't really want to come play with our shock troops too much. Um, and yeah, we just have the numbers advantage. There's also no wound recovery in his list, so our shooting should do well. And speaking of shooting, he just doesn't have any outside of the command dice to get a lightning bolt 4 on somebody. Our which is going to do nothing because we have radiance of life and healing options on our end. So yeah, I think overall we have a good matchup into this, and what's even better than that is we're going to be playing Dominate for round 3. So, he has the speed on us, but we all have to get to the middle, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, here we go. There's Nathan and I. And here is the board. So terrain wise, there is impassable building, bottom left, top right. Hills are kind of even, far left, far right. the pond, an obstacle, trees, another obstacle over here. And then the field, the height one field, is right next to the building there. So pretty straightforward, yeah. So combat wise or deployment wise, Nathan on the left hand side has one of his hordes of Hellstrikers. He has the Thunderwolves, he has the mounted character, and he has the Hellstriker character. In the center, he has his Legion of Fight Wagons with his Storm Giant, behind which he has his Godspeaker, War Drum. He has one, two, three, all three in the formation. I believe the one that's most center of the board or furthest to the left of these is the faster unit, the scarier unit, if you will. That unit, I think I forgot to mention, it also inspires. So Reborn Legionaries are pretty darn good, and they have Crush 2 built in. So expensive, but good. And then he has his flagger here, and he has his last horde of Hellstrikers out on the very far right. So for my deployment, again, kind of learned my lesson here from the first game, but this time it's dominate, so we need to be in the middle. But this time I have horde of shock troops. I believe this is sharpness. Yes, sharpness shock troops. All three weapons teams behind them. We have Mother Kryza, we have a Brood Mother with the Blight Staff, and we have a Brute Enforcer all in there. Warrior Regiment. We have the J booted horde in the middle with Tangle behind. We then have another brute with uh, the naked broodmother, the with just drain life. She has our other red dice as well. And then we have a regiment of warriors and all three weapons teams in the back here who basically just wanted to, shoot whatever came down this lane here. So yeah, that is our deployment, and this is after both of our turns. But Nathan got first turn; he moved up as you see here, and then my turn, I pushed forward with kind of the right half, but the left half is staying back just a little bit, and our weapons teams are actually going further out, utilizing this impassable piece to and their nimble and maneuverability to kind of get out here essentially, and yeah, we'll hopefully be able to shoot off some of these things coming in from the flank. Um, yeah, so Nathan got Veil of Shadows off on his first turn. On my turn, I moved in range for some charges. The Storm Giant, I believe, is just in range, which means the Hell Strikers are in range of this center horde. But I did give the center horde the extra pip of nerve from the command ability. I also gave pretty much everybody a charge on this brute and said, if you want to kill him, come on in. Yeah, and then we are protecting our flank from this horde over here and just having our strength shock troops out there, making sure they're not getting flank charged, and nothing in the center can reach out and touch them either. So yeah, our shooting, we did weakness the Legion from Tangle. So I felt fairly comfortable being as that Legion's going to be hindered, so they'll be back to hitting on threes because sharpness effectively will be nullified. And if a giant comes in with them, I felt like math wise I should be fine. And then all of our other shooting out here went towards his Hellstrikers. We got to start putting some damage on them. They're unsupported, they're uninspired. Let's take them down, shoot them out of the air. I will say, though, that he put himself in range of just one of the guys. So I actually did not shoot with that one. I just backed it up to where it's out. So you'll see that little gap there. So that one on the far right backed up. The other two shot. Um, and yeah, that was my turn. And we'll show a little bit better. And then, oh, wouldn't you know? I've had some people roll good dice against me, and Nathan, I'm sorry, but 3 wounds and a boxcars is a waiver. So I guess, lucky it wasn't 5 wounds and a boxcars since you didn't weren't inspired, but no, I got lucky to waiver that unit. Not that it really had any vital charges this turn. I took it out of range of everything but the horde of shock troops that's out here. So I don't think it was uh, ridiculous. I mean, it's one of those where it's like it's annoying, but it's not like it's game losing immediately. So yeah, got a waiver on them. Very nice. And yeah, that is turn one for both of us. So turn two, Nathan said, so Nathan rolled ridiculous for his command dice. I think he got like 8 or 9 command dice on the 4 dice that he had this turn. So I think he literally maxed out every possible command dice that he had this turn. And with that in mind, he decided, you know what, this is probably as good a time as any to go in. So he did do the double charge. One thing I wasn't counting on, or just didn't put into my math in my head, is that he does have a Bane chant, and he does Bane chant the Legion. So obviously that matters. So he's Bane chanted, and he has Brew Sharpness, but he's hindered and weakened. So effectively, that Legion is just a normal stat block for a Legion. So he's hitting on threes, wounding on threes, because chariots don't get affected by the phalanx. I did not pop my plague pots, and yeah. So, but I am a 23-25 nerve with the horde, and he did get the giant in as well, which has Cloak of Death. So a lot of stuff has Cloak of Death. 1 wound on it, but perfect counter to Cloak of Death is a Radiance of Life, which we have 2 of. So we'll be fine from that. Yeah, and then like I said, he doesn't have shooting, so it's just all positioning from here. He decides to take the wolves around the building. Same with the individual. He decides to move up adjacent here and more in the lane there, keeping everything out of charge range here except for his 2 regiments of orcs here are in charge range of this. Obviously, the brute does have a charge as well, on just this unit. Nothing could charge that one. So yeah, that was that, and he killed the horde. Remember, he had a ton of command dice. So this was why Nathan kind of threw it in there. He said, "You know what? I have nothing else to use on the command dice." So he said, "I'm going to use 6 command dice, and I'm going to re-roll all hits and all wounds on this unit." So he did the giant first, and the giant I think did like 4 or 5 wounds, which was about average. So I'm up to, after the cloak of death, I think I have 5 wounds on me. And then his legion did another 12 wounds, so that puts me at 17. So he needs a 25 to break me, and he needs it twice. Um, because I'm extra rallied. And so 20, and he has brutal, so 17, so 18. So he needs a 7 twice at that point. Um, and he, 12 wounds is right around averages. I think we did the math. It's maybe just a little bit below average, but he decided, you know what? I spent the command points on it. I'm going to re-roll it. And it mattered. He got 4 more wounds. So instead of the 7 twice, he needed the 3 twice. And he popped the horde. Just made it look so easy. So yeah, one of those where my mistake on not remembering the Bane Chant option. Um, but yeah, I should have probably popped the Plague Pots, or um, yeah, I don't know, maybe just not allowed the double charge somehow, but it is what it is. So we are down a horde of shock troops right out the gate. And the even worse, we'll see his reform here. This horde is not able to see the Legion, so he ran forward with the giant, ending there, and then this Legion's facing here, so and it looks like some of my shooting early in the game went to the giant, so that's why it has some wounds on it already. Yeah, so that's annoying for sure. Not the ideal situation we want to be in right this moment. So yeah, we're gonna need to fix this. We're gonna need to do something. So we do something. All right. So we move up and daisy chain blocking off flanks for each one of these guys. His Striker character could charge the front of one of these, but the big thing was his individual back here isn't able to connect on any of those guys. Also, because it's only a height 1 field, I'm able to shoot at the height 4 units without any cover. So I decided to shoot at the Hell Strikers at this point. All the rest of my shooting is shooting at the other Hell Strikers, which we'll talk about them in a moment. I do go in with a brute to block up the regiment while I double charge the front and get a flank with the other brute here on this legion. And then I charge with the command for Thunderous Charge over here. And yeah, we don't mind that. And then just a little bit of movement, mostly to get Radiance of Life and to get some Drain Life into here as well. So yeah, that is where we end up with our turn, bottom of 2, and shooting was good for us. We did some damage here, not too terribly much, 5 or 6 wounds, but he's fine. But we did about 5 or 6 wounds over here, plus the 3 he had, and we rolled enough to break it because he was still uninspired. So, dead Hellstriker Horde for free. We will absolutely take it. Um, yeah, and then combat wise, we kill the regiment and turn to face in on the rest of his army. But you know what we failed to kill and failed quite miserably actually is this legion. So this is the sharpness horde, which was hindered, but uh, yeah, and I wasn't able to bane chant it unfortunately. Um, I actually ended up casting weakness, I think, over here. I wasn't able to bane chant it because of positioning. I needed to stay out of the giant's front arc here. Um, and I probably could have done it better and had better positioning, but I was keeping both these guys out of range of the Hellstriker character. So yeah, so I think I definitely needed to move in such a way to get Bane Chant, but I don't think it would have mattered because I rolled pretty horribly here. I think they're only at 10 wounds, it looks like, and one of those is from a Cloak of Death, and we have Brutal as well from the flank. Right now they're a dash 22, I want to say, with the War Drum, and yeah, it was just really bad. Unfortunately, not ideal. We're definitely in a bad position because well, Hellbreakers are coming in. So fast forward. Let's again. He doesn't have shooting, so we'll just go straight to this. He did hit the I think the horde was actually a flank. It was close, but he took the Hell Strikers into the flank here, and then he took the rear of Mother Kryza, and he actually countercharged the front of Mother Kryza with his Legion. So even after I weaknessed him, he just Bane chanted that horde again, so that way they were wounding on 2s still. So yeah, 36 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. with brutal. Yeah, they easily pop this in the flank without any assistance. So yeah, unfortunate that I wasn't yeah, I wasn't able to kill this Legion here and turn the look, but I really didn't have any other options. I needed to deal with the Legion in some way, and well, like I said, the Reforged Orcs don't have any wound recovery, so there's a lot of stuff with plenty of wounds out there, and maybe that's what we need to do is just keep applying the wound pressure. So his giant ended up just turning, pivoting to look this direction. His regiment over here charged into these guys because he had to, and he did end up killing the brute, which was not inspired, and he killed the horde first, so it wasn't even rallied, so that was expected. So this is the board state then for bottom three for me. It is just a bloody game already, and it's just gonna keep going. So really, yeah. Sorry, I missed some pictures here, but fast forward. I positioned to shoot one of these guys at the Thunder Wolves. The other two moved over to shoot at, I believe, the Horde here. Um, then or no, they shot at, who did they shoot at? Who am I shooting at here? Am I shooting at this guy? Yeah, I think he is majority out of the force, so I think these two were shooting here. Um, but yeah, or no, there was a legion of chariots here before. I shot at the legion, duh, because why wouldn't I? So picked up the Legion with the shooting this turn. That was the big thing. The horde of shock troops out here munched on another a regiment of orcs. I was able to Bane Chant them this time, so that would be a crushing 3 unit, because these are the brew strength. So and then I also got the drain life in there. That was the other thing last turn. I had drain life in and into that legion, and still only did 10 wounds total. So it was really unfortunate. So but yeah, and we got the brute in over here, so that way we could ground them, uh, and I believe I even get a lucky waiver on that as well. So yeah, so killed them, wavered here because they're up to 7 wounds, 8 with the brutal. Yeah, so just need a 6 or 5, no, 6 to waver, no, 7 to waver. Yeah, 7 or 8 waivers. So we did get that, and this is how it looks for top of 4. So Nathan ended up charging one of these guys. He charged the flank of this brute. He charged his Hellstriker character into the Broodmother. He charged the War Drum plus the individual over here. I believe it was a what's it called? A flagger into the horde. So yeah, why not? Um, yeah, So, and then the giant just repositioned again to look north, basically this direction, because I was out of his line of sight for the previous turn. Once again, here you'll notice, boop. So this line of sight that way, and then that line of sight doesn't see this sword. So yeah, that I think was one of the big mistakes because for Nathan, that giant pivoting just 2 turns in a row, not being able to see anything or charge anything, it's pretty crucial. In other games or other situations, it wouldn't be too bad because he's still providing Cloak of Death, but my Radiance of Life is clearing his Cloak of Deaths every turn. So yeah, this turn he killed a war machine and ended up shimmying back into the terrain. He killed the brute. He lost those guys. So yeah, that's all he killed was the brute and the war machine. He did disorder my brood mother, but my turn and my shooting, I focus both of these guys onto the heavily injured. Um, what's it called? Hellstrikers. At least they had made up their points already. They killed a horde by themselves, so uh, yeah. But I just got so many more units. Starting the game with more units than Nathan, and we're just doing a peace trade at this point. So the broodmother, I believe, walked away here, but my horde countercharged the individual. I believe I bane chanted. Yeah, I probably bane chanted them again, but countercharged the individual, killed it, overran into the war drum, killed it, and then this is how I ended up positioning. I believe I also flanked the war drum with this regiment. And for the reform purposes, I needed to sidestep them, and so they're exposing their flank and rear here. But the two main threats are in the front of the shock troops, which are my last, main combat unit and my biggest unit strength dump. So, yeah. And all the other shooting went at the Hellstriker character, I believe. So, and Nathan's turn 5. We clash some more. So he comes after the war machine. He goes into the flank of the rats here. He takes the giant into the front. The Hellstriker character just does a 180 and flies back towards the middle of the board. As you can see, my broodmother had gotten out of line of sight, just walked away after getting charged, and you know wasn't able to do a drain life that turn, but she was perfectly fine for this next turn. Um, yeah, so Nathan only has a few pieces left to play with, and he yeah, and I believe I popped plague pots for this last turn too. So this giant comes in and completely whiffs. He's hitting on fives. He does kill the regiment, but this is how it looks for bottom of five. Um, and I actually start walking claw shots towards the center because they didn't have a good shooting target. The one target would be a giant, but I'm gonna be in combat with it. So um, yeah, he also failed to kill the weapons team last turn with his guy. I think he failed his host Shadow Beast or something. So it was yeah, it wasn't a great turn for him. So I to do let's see here. I charge in. I killed the giant. Reform like so. I think my shooting ended up going on to the regiment, maybe something. My shooting didn't end up picking anything up. But yeah, this is where it is for Nathan 6. And he's pretty much locked in with what he can do. He finished off the war machine. I think his character might have been wavered from all my shooting at this point, and then the regiment went into the shock troops, and they don't kill anything. Uh, and that is the last picture I have. But realistically, what happened is I roll it out. I kill this horde or this regiment, overrun. I ran these guys in. If there was a possibility for turn 7, I set it up to where these two could get in as well. And my shooting did take off his Hellstriker character, and I might have even wavered the other character as well. So in the end, I took away all the unit strength of Nathan's list, and I had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 unit strength, I believe, in the middle, which is enough for the maximum points for blackjack uh, on the on the scenario side of things. So it was definitely a big win there, but attrition points wise, it was much closer. I think we were only like 700 or 800 points difference at this point. So I think I only got a +1 for attrition. So with that, I think it was 19-point win roughly, and yeah, it was it was a good game. It was one where I felt like I played it well and I was comfortable with the rats at this point, and I played the scenario well. I think obviously I still made some mistakes. Just not adding in a Bane Chant to a calculation is obviously a big mistake on a 30 attack Legion of fight wagons. Um, and then rolling pretty poorly on the counter charge into that fight wagon unit. That fight wagon Legion basically cost me two hordes of shock troops, but man, that other horde just put everybody on their back and carried the rest of the game. And obviously my shooting played a huge factor and was very clutch in the right situations. Um, so yeah, overall very happy with the game, the outcome. Still making a few mistakes and still not have have the best control or handle on what to expect damage wise out of these units. I think there's just been a few too many times this event where a shock troop horde that I feel I think has a clear kill on a unit just comes up a little bit short. But then, the shock troop horde with Bruce Strength on the right, it killed three regiments of orcs all in one shot. Granted, this one's damaged already, but the other ones were not. And then it also killed an individual, overran into a war machine. It killed a giant that was heavily damaged. So that shock troop horde, I mean, it munched 800 points of attrition all by itself. So it was just in the right place with the right supports in the time that I needed it. Um, so yeah, even though the other two didn't do or get dick shit. This one was left uncontested and just mowed through everything. So yeah, that's the game. So we finished day one with one win, two losses. The losses weren't terrible. The win was a pretty good win. So we're honestly sitting probably middle of the field, maybe even upper half with that. But um, yeah, that's day one in the books for Nerdhammer GT. Got to play against three new players that are not new players, but three people I have never played against. All three of them Masters players. So, I can't really ask for much more than that. And that's really a big reason why I do try to get to tournaments that are a ways out of my region and off the normal path that I take. So, I'm having a lot of fun. Even in the losses, I feel like there's still a lot of good games to be played. So uh, yeah, that is game three. So we will catch you all on game four, and we'll see if we can make that submarine keep surfacing. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.